Good day everyone, I'm Jonathan Rabuso and I am one of the reporters in chapter 19 which is entitled Environmental Ethics. So let's start. So Ilog Ko, Irog Ko, River Revival Program held a colorful regatta at the Tenejeros Tolahan River and crowned a Little Miss Earth Day. It was April 22, 1990, Earth Day, the second of such celebration since 1970. So itong River Revival Program is isang makulay na regatta sa Ilog, Tulahan, Tenejeros na kung saan is binansagan din itong Little Miss Earth Day daw noong April 22, 1990 na tinatawag din na Earth Day. At second of celebration noong 1970. So next is Time International explained the reason for the celebration. With solemnity and joy, the world pauses to pay tribute to its common heritage, Mother Earth, and warn people everywhere that the clock is ticking and the hours is late. So dito naman, yung Time International is ipinaliwanag yung rason kung bakit sineselebrate yung Earth Day. Para daw gunitain at uh, bigyan ng saya or halaga yung mundo na kung saan is yung mundo is titigil muna para magbigay pugay doon sa mga pamana ng ating mundo na kung saan is nagbibigay natin ng warning sa mga tao sa kahit saang dako man ng mundo na ang oras daw ay umaandar at ang oras ay huli na. So next is the depletion of substance necessary to support life on Earth is growing global concern. Nations have banded together, laws have been passed, scientific measures have been adopted, and conservationist groups have multiplied. The sentiment is that contemporary man must evolve an ecological cons to guide his efforts in saving planet Earth. So, yun nga, sinasabi dito na yung mga substance necessary para masuportahan yung mga buhay sa mundo is lumalala na at nagiging parang tawag dito, kabahabahala na. Kaya naman yung mga nations is nagtulong-tulong, gumawa sila ng mga batas at saka nagkaroon din ng mga pag-aaral or scientific measures na inadapt para magamit sa nature para mas mapangalagaan. Tapos yung mga conservationist groups is lalo pang dumami para mapangalagaan nga yung ating planet. At yun nga, para syempre sa mga napapanahong issue din na kung saan sa paglago din ng ating mundo is andyan yung ecological cons na kung saan is nag-i-evolve na magiging guide para mailigtas yung ating planeta or planet. So, let's move on to environmental ethics. So, environmental ethics refers to man's moral obligation to preserve the environment and natural order of things. So, dito sinasabi na yung environmental ethics is tumutukoy sa tao or tayo or obligasyon ng tao para mapreserba yung environment at mabalik ito sa natural na pagkakaayos. So, obligasyon ng mga tao in short. So number one, that man has moral obligation to preserve environment is derived from God's eternal law, which according to Saint Augustine is precisely the command of God that man is preserve the natural order of things and do not disturb it. So sinasabi dito na yung mga tao is obligasyon talaga ng mga tao na pangalagaan yung environment dahil yun ay nakapaloob sa utos ng Diyos o sa batas ng Diyos na yun na according kay Saint Augustine naman is utos ng Diyos nga na ipreserba ng bawat nilalang yung natural na kaayusan at wag itong guluhin kumbaga yung mundo natin or wag sirain. Yun ang ibig sabihin. So number two, the purpose of environmental ethics is the conservation of the environment since man's survival is interrelated with the environment. So dito naman is sinasabi na yung mga tao is kailangan pangalagaan yung environment natin since yung mga tao naman is connected siya or connected siya sa environment. Kumbaga kung walang environment is hindi makakasurvive ang mga tao. Kaya kailangan i-conserve ito at pangalagaan. In number 3 naman, the duty to preserve environment involves respecting the natural order of things by not intervening carelessly with the work of nature. So dito, duty natin bilang mga tao na i-preserve yung environment. So, irespeto din at yun nga, wag guguluhin yung mga natural order of things na kumbaga wag natin sisirain or wag tayong gumawa ng ikakasira ng ating nature or ating mundo. Dahil yun nga is duty natin yun. Next is moral extensionism. Humans have duties to natural entities and the rights on which these duties are founded are based on some intrinsically valuable characteristic of the entity. So, dito naman is next is yung departs from the traditional view which holds the value environment only in its relation to man, that the lower life forms are means towards the promotion of human life. So, dito is sinasabi na lumalayo sa yung moral extensionism is lumalayo sa traditional na pananaw na nagtataglay ng halaga ng kapaligiran lamang sa kaugnayan nito sa tao, na ang mas mababang anyo ng buhay ay paraan tungo sa pagtataguyod ng buhay ng tao. So next slide is it insists that environment and all creatures have meaning in and of itself beyond mere instrumentally. So dito naman isinasabi lang na yung kapaligiran at lahat ng mga nilalang ay may kahulugan sa sarili nito. So, ibig sabihin, bawat bagay dito sa mundo natin is may kanya-kanyang kahulugan or gamit yan. Kaya dapat is so dahil nga doon is pwede natin itong maging instrumento at gamitin dahil. So, yun. So, magtungo naman tayo sa ecology, no? So, ecology, galing sa Greek word na ecos, meaning habitation or home. So, ecology as a science, syempre, sinasabi na ito ay tungkol sa home planet Earth. It is the study of the interrelation of organisms. So, ito daw ay pinag-aaralan yung kung ano yung pagkakakonekta ng isang organism sa environment at yung paano yung process linking organism at yung sa lugar nito. Next is yung ecological environment. It includes all external forces or conditions acting on an organism or community of organism, whether climatic, chemical, and biological. So, mamaya mapapaliwanag natin kung ano-ano tong mga ito, yung kung climatic, chemical, or biological. So, next is yung climatic conditions. So, from the word itself, climatic, so meaning yung weather or yung temperature is, ito yung tumutukoy sa temperature ng humidity prevailing in any geographic location. Kumbaga, yung isang temperatura doon sa isang lokasyon or sa geographic location is humidity, so parang mahalumigmig, kumbaga ba. So, dahil sa ganong klaseng conditions or climatic conditions is yung mga organism na nabubuhay is sila lang yung may kayang mabuhay sa climate na ganon. So next is yung chemical conditions naman is refer to the type and concentration of chemicals in soil, water, and air. So yung chemical condition naman is tumutukoy sa uri ng mga konsentrasyon ng chemicals sa ilalim ng lupa, tubig, at saka sa hangin. So next is yung biological conditions. So it refers to the interrelation of living things or organisms and their communities. So ito naman is tumutukoy sa relasyon ng living things or organisms sa isang komunidad. Next is yung ecosystem naman na tinatawag. So yung ecosystem is the relation of forces of environment is called ecosystem. So, sabi nga ni Barry Commoner, ecosystem is the closed web of climatic, chemical, and biological processes. So, created by living things, maintained by living things, and through marvelous reciprocities of biological and geochemical evolution uniquely essential to the support of living things. So, for example, para mas maintindihan natin yung sinasabi, is yung example ng ecosystem is food chain, na kung saan is may predator type sa isang closed web, and then a closed web of interdependence is created when plant is eaten by mouse, which in turn is eaten by the hawk. So yun nga, kumbaga yung yung daga is kakainin niya yung plant, and then yung daga naman is kakainin siya ng hook. When the hook dies, bacteria and fungi consume it and return mineral elements and simple chemical compounds to the air, soil, and water. So yun nga, pag namatay naman yung hook or agila, is kakainin naman siya ng bacteria at saka mga fungi na magsisilbing mineral elements or magiging pataba at magiging isang simpleng chemical compounds na lang siya sa hangin, sa soil, at saka sa tubig. So yun. So ecological man. Man's relatedness with environment is an assumed truth of ethics. So sinasabi na yung mga tao daw is noon pa man is related na sa environment, at totoo yun pagdating sa pag-aaral ng etika. So this view is not entirely new. So hindi na daw ito bago dahil traces of it are found in abundance in the consciousness of people. So may mga ilang example din na maipapakita dito na yung tao is noon pa man is related na siya sa environment, at yung mga example dito is yung the book of Genesis, na kung saan is the book of Genesis, for instance, tells how God formed man from the soil, breathed life to him, and placed him in the Garden of Eden, from where he may eat and nourish himself except with one forbidden fruit. So yun, so parang sinasabi dito sa book of Genesis na kung saan is yung ginawa ng Diyos ang tao gamit ng soil, and then binigyan ng buhay, and then ipinunta ni God ang tao sa Garden of Eden para mabuhay doon at kainin ang kahit na anong bagay maliban lamang sa pinagbabawal na putas. So yung Garden of Eden, the Garden of Eden naman is refers to the environment naman daw. So tumutukoy sa environment where everything is beautiful and peaceful, a paradise until the devil came. So nung dumating nga daw yung devil, until the devil came and deceived man into disturbing the natural order of the things contrary to God's plan. So yun na, sinasabi dito na yung Garden of Eden is tumutukoy sa environment, which is yung environment daw na yun is napakaganda, tahimik, at saka paraiso, hanggang sa dumating yung devil at tinukso yung tao na which is yun nga si Eva, na kinain niya yung forbidden fruit na kung saan is na-disturb yung natural order o kaayusan ng isang environment, na kung saan is contrary doon sa, or kumbaga sa parang gumulo din sa God's plan, sa plano ng Diyos natin. Next is yung the Filipino folklore. The Filipino folklore that tells how the first man and woman, the si Malakas and si Maganda, emerged from the bamboo trees. A bamboo tree does not only explain the origin of mankind but gives an illusion to man's dependence on his environment for survival. That the Aitas of Zambales would respect the environment and would not harm it unnecessarily indicates how the affinity with the environment is an instinct of human nature. So dito naman sa Filipino folklore is merong alamat na kung saan sinasabi si Malakas at si Maganda nga, kung natatandaan ninyo yung kwento na yon, na si Malakas at si Maganda ay nanggaling sa bamboo tree na biniyak, di ba? Nabiyak. Tapos, ayun na, parang kalakip nun na kung saan is yung tao is kakambal niya talaga yung environment para mabuhay, ano. At sinasabi din na yung mga Aita sa Sambales is malaki yung respeto nila sa environment dahil naniniwala sila na yung environment is tirahan ng mga tao, at saka yun nga, dapat daw is hindi ito sirain or wag gamitin yung environment sa mga walang kwentang bagay, at dapat itong pangalagaan. Naniniwala ang mga Aita doon. So next is yung Lost Paradise. Both myth and science point to Earth as an ecological paradise, that somehow man lost his sense of affinity with nature with the rise of Puritanism. So dito daw, yung Lost Paradise is sinasabi ng alamat at ng science, yung pinupunto nila is yung Earth is an ecological paradise. Pero, sa kabilang banda, ngunit, kahit paano, nawala yung sense ng mga tao o parang connection ng mga tao sa nature or sa kalikasan sa pag-usbong daw ng Puritanism. So, ano nga ba itong Puritanism? So, yung Puritanism is yung mga ang Puritanismo or Puritanism is yung mga taong relihiyoso at moral na kilusan na umusbong noon sa England noong ika-16 na century. Tapos ito ay naglalaman ng mga pananaw at prinsipyo na nagtataguyod ng masusing pagsunod sa Biblia. Mula sa mga hindi kanais-nais na aspeto ng ritual na doktrina. So, ang mga Puritanism is naghahangad ng mas mataas na moralidad sa lipunan at isang mas banal na pamumuhay. Kumbaga, sinasabi ng mga tao na ang Puritanism is sila yung mga tao na gustong naghahangad sila ng mas banal na pamumuhay or gumanda yung kanilang buhay. May kinalaman din ito sa kanilang pangarap ng isang relihiyosong pamahalaan na kung saan is makikita doon na sa kanilang naging papel sa mga kolonya ng New England sa Amerika is yung pangkalahatan ng Puritanismo is yung naglalarawan ng isang pangkalahatang kilusan at pananaw sa relihiyon na nagtataguyod ng masusing pagsunod sa moralidad at saka yung spiritual. So, yun. So, dahil nga sa paghahangad na yun is parang nawala yung connection ng tao sa nature sa pag-usbong ng Puritanism. So, next, Thomas Merton blames the Puritans. So, ayun nga, sinisini Thomas Merton yung mga Puritan kaya nangyaring ganon. So basahin natin Thomas Merton blames the Puritan settlers who regarded it a religious duty. Yun nga, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, yung mga Puritan is reliyosong mga tao to wage war against nature. So yun nga, parang ang nangyayari kasi yung mga Puritan is para gumanda yung kanilang buhay, kailangan nilang gamitin yung nature para gumanda yung kanilang buhay. So kapalit naman nun is parang nasisira yung nature. So the Puritans regarded the wilderness as the domain of moral wickedness since it encouraged spontaneity which is a sin. So yun. So next is, if Merton is correct, then the Puritans were essentially men spoken of by the Taoists. So kung tama daw si Merton is yung mga Puritans ay yung mga matatalinong tao na tinutukoy ng mga Taoists. So, however, we don't think only Puritans and the pioneers regarded the wilderness as the source of prosperity, real estate, money, and urbanized civil life. Every man craves for food, comfort, and luxuries. Human greed is motive behind the wanton destruction of environment. So, ayun nga, gayon pa man hindi natin iniisip na ang mga Puritan ay at ang mga pioneer lamang ang itinuturing na ilang bilang na pinagmulan ng prosperity nga daw, real estate, at saka yung pagiging urbanized ng civil life. So, yung bawat tao daw is gutom sa pagkain, sa kaunlaran, ano pa ba? At saka yung pagiging urbanized na civil life. At saka karangyaan, tapos yung mga tao din daw is dahil doon sa pagkagutom nila sa mga pagkain at saka sa karangyaan at saka sa pagginhawaan is hindi na naiisip ng ibang tao na nasisira na yung environment. So yun. Next is environmental degradation. So environmental degradation is the large-scale despoliation of Earth and its resources as the result of human activities. So dito naman, dahil nga daw sa activities ng mga tao is nasisira yung ating environment at saka yun, na nasisira yung mga yamang natin kalikasan dahil sa mga activities na ginagawa ng mga tao. So, the rapid increase in human population in the last 100 years has changed the global environment in a scale comparable to a major geologic or climatic forces. So, sinasabi na ang mabilis na pagdami ng tao or populasyon sa nakalipas na 100 taon ay nagbago sa pandaigdigang kapaligiran sa isang sukat na maihahambing sa isang pangunahing geologic o klimatikong puwersa. So next is animal and human population behave similarly when they multiply beyond the supportive capabilities of the environment. So they pollute their habitats, exhaust natural resources, succumb to severe competition for food, and suffer strife, malnutrition, disease, and social breakdown. So dito naman, so yung animal at human population is pareho lang na nagmo-multiply or dumadami. So dahil sa pagdami nga nito is yung hindi na nasusuplayan ng environment yung mga pangangailangan ng animal at human. So dahil doon is na-pollute na yung habitats ng animals at saka mga human. So nagkakaroon na din ng pagkasira ng natural resources. Nagkakaroon ng kompetisyon sa paghahanap ng pagkain dahil sa pagdami ng tao at ng animals. So, syempre, nagkakaroon din ng mga malnutrition, mga sakit, at yung nagkakaroon ng social breakdown. Kumbaga, hindi na nagkakaroon ng balance dahil sa pagdami ng animals at mga human population. Technological advancement has constantly brought comfort to human life, but it also responsible for the ecological problems threatening man's survival. The smog from factories and the dangerous gases, cars, and airplanes have damaged the ozone layer. The world is experiencing unusual weather changes and warning about the global warming is up. So dito nga, hindi naman natin may pagkakailan na yung technological advancement natin is nakakatulong naman sa buhay ng tao upang mapadali yung pang-araw-araw na buhay. Pero sa kabilang banda is isa sa mga dahilan din kung bakit nagkakaroon ng global warming is yung technological advancement natin na kung saan is yung mga usok galing sa factories is delikado, pati na sa mga usok ng kotse, airplanes is nasisira yung ating ozone layer. So, yung ating mundo is nakakaranas ng weather changes dahil nga sa mga technological advancement din. At saka, syempre, dahil doon is tumataas yung global warming. So hanggang doon lamang po ang aking report at maraming salamat po sa pakikinig. Thank you.